Last week, I had the good fortune to participate in a Zoom retreat with Chris Schenk, CSJ, who is a sister of St. Joseph. Some of you may know Chris. She had served as the founding executive director of Future Church. The retreat was entitled Women and the Word, a retreat with the women of John's Gospel. The material was based on Sandra Snyder, IHM's book, Written That You May Believe. Written That You May Believe is a reference to John's Gospel. So it's her opening John's Gospel to the world. So, in the Gospel we heard today, the part attributed to Matthew is referred to as Peter's confession of the Christ. It's pretty familiar to us, right? We've heard it before, Peter, rock, church, community. Yeah, it's true. And that's the gospel that folks are hearing all over the world today. Of course, that wasn't enough for us. But that's the narrative that has been presented as the foundation for the papacy tracing its lineage to Peter. So today we also heard the part attributed to John, what's referred to as Martha's confession of the Christ. And although the accounts are remarkably similar, it's curious that one is universally recognized and the other overlooked. Today, I simply want to whet your curiosity and share 5 observations in the hope of raising awareness of what differentiated the community Martha was part of. Those of us here who have heard Libby Schrader, or Libby Schrader Pulsar now, speak about her recent research into the Gospel of John, with potentially Martha being added, all that came well after this. But I still think there's a core to a story here that we might want to understand. The Joanine community, right, the community that the gospel attributed to John was written for, was highly egalitarian, right? So let's go back to the first century. Most of us weren't there, but imagine, okay? Egalitarian wasn't really like culturally the norm. It was a diverse community made up of Samaritans, Jews who had been ejected from the synagogues, Gentiles, even followers of that guy John the Baptist, right? So it was a mixed group. They believed that the Holy Spirit was given without measure to all, male, female, Jewish, Samaritan, Gentile. So just imagine some tension in this model in a patriarchal culture. There's a chance we might hear Martha's confession of faith proclaimed at a funeral, because it's one of the options for funerals. Or annually on June 29th, which is the memorial of Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. So for everyone who's, in church on the 29th of July. And so contrast that with Peter's confession that is heard Sundays in year A, like today, the 21st Sunday in ordinary time, twice in year B, Mark's version and John's version, and once in year C, Luke's version. Guess who chooses what readings make it into the Sunday lectionary? Enough said. Third, biblical scholars agree. When Peter speaks, he doesn't speak for himself. He speaks as a leader for all the disciples in Matthew's community. Same can be true or said of Martha. The fourth gospel reveals a first-century community in which women exercise non-conventional roles. Two women hold the place occupied by Peter in the synoptics in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Martha, as the confessor of faith, we heard that today, and Mary Magdalene as the recipient of the Easter Epiphany and the proclaimer of the Easter message to the church. Scholars agree it would be near impossible to really understand John's gospel unless at the time John's community really saw women as community leaders. Listen again to the words of Martha's confession. Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, the one coming into the world. Note, the word used is coming, not came, not has come. Present tense. Jesus is coming. Martha witnesses to the dynamic reality of Jesus, who is still coming into our world today. I invite you to consider the timing of Peter's and Martha's confessions, because Peter speaks after having witnessed numerous miracles that Jesus did. Martha, on the other hand, devastated by her brother's death, believes even before seeing Lazarus emerge from the tomb. Her faith rests on the one who stands before her. It's worth noting that the raising of Lazarus is a story we only hear in John's gospel. Call me biased, I will acknowledge I am. I think Martha deserves to be remembered alongside Peter for her affirmation of faith. Born in suffering, delivered before the miracle of her brother being raised from the dead. My friends, Jesus desires encounter with all of us. The question I leave you with today is the one that opened our gospel today. Who do you say I am? Thank you.